Happy New Year, everybody. It's Brian Terrian from the Disability Digest. Thank you for joining our first live event of the year. I feel like I haven't done this in like forever because we had a few weeks off because of the holidays. But it's
Hello, Happy New Year, everyone.
good to be back. Nadine, thanks for joining. And Philip is with us. Philip Price, wonderful. So great. Yeah, we're excited to spend some time with you. We're going to spend the first part of the program talking about the Social Security changes, what they are, how they will impact you. You can ask any questions relative to that. And the concept is to get you set up for 2025. And as part of our new format, that we launched last in our last live is you'll be able to submit questions like you normally have through Facebook or YouTube chat, but you will also be able to come into the Zoom room and join Nadine, Philip, and I, and just have a conversation with us about maybe you're trying to get approved or you're concerned about your continuing disability review, or you've got a side hustle set up for 2025 and you want to talk about like how much money you can make and keep your benefits. So things like that. So that is what we have on tap today. Oh, before we get started, I want to remind everybody that we have a promotion, I guess I'd say, with Philip's Facebook group. Philip runs one of the fastest growing, largest Facebook groups that provides person to person support for individuals that are trying to get approved. And his group is like on the cusp of reaching 1 million, or is it 10,000?
10,000.
10,000.
1 million's next.
Right now,
So, yeah, so we're excited for Philip and the group. And we, as part of our partnership, Philip's group provides support. Disability Digest provides a no-charge membership with the technical how-tos to get and keep your benefits. We have a drawing that we announced back in November when we reached 10,000. So you want to update us on that, Philip? What's going on?
yeah, we're currently at 9,978, and we are at this point right now, we're 22 people away from hitting that 10,000 mark. Actually, 25 people away. So
25 people away. All
today,
right.
I will approve those 25 to join the Facebook group, and then in that, once we have approved those to come in, then we'll have the drawing to determine who the winner is.
Who is the winner?
Yeah.
Right. You want to remind the folks of the prize money that we have put on the table for this?
Yeah, the 10,000 drawing, or the person who wins the 10,000th drawing will win $50.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they sign up and become a member with the Disability Digest, they'll earn another $50.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do it while we're broadcasting at next week's live show, then we will double that to $200 prize. So all you out there that are watching, pay attention. You need to go in and register to the Disability Digest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Link posted so you can go to the link, register for a free membership. It's free, doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works.
It works.
Yep.
And you
Right.
get a chance to win some kashing.
Win some money, get some answers. Win some money, get some money. That's great. I look forward to giving away. So what I just want to clarify for everybody, we will be sending out, like right after Philip announces it, we'll get email addresses for all the winners, and we will send you an electronic Amazon card. So it'll be like, within 24 hours, typically.
But you got to register and join us next week at the live in order to win the
Yeah.
whole buck. I mean, if we draw you for a member, you get the $50. If you register, you get another $50, and if you're there live, you get the $200.
Pays to be present.
Yes.
That's one of the things I've heard a lot lately, like in conversations and what you're doing. Like people they get distracted by these gizmos, right? My kids, actually, they've gotten much better, but being present. So that's part of our being present. Good. All right, let's get on with the show today. Remember, you can submit your questions, or you'll have a link that you can come in and join the Zoom room. When you come into the Zoom room, you'll chat with Nadine a little bit about your question. She'll brief you on kind of the protocol, and then we can talk about your situation. Totally no charge, free, part of the program we do here today. All right? Good. Okay, so there's been a lot of news and information put out about the December Social Security disability or Social Security changes with the Freedom Act. I've already done a video on that, but I'm going to hit the highlights once again for those of you that may have been totally unplugged, and then you can ask any filler questions. This, in my opinion, has a very, very small impact on disability recipients, the Fairness Act. And the reason is it applies to somebody who had a government job or a teacher's job and did not pay into Social Security. And typically, if somebody had a job like that and they didn't pay into Social Security, they didn't have the credits to qualify for Social Security, so they wouldn't be a Social Security recipient, and they likely are not here. However, this is what could happen with individuals like that. Let's say that you were a policeman or a firefighter or a teacher, and this new allocation of funding saying that you did pay into Social Security would restore your work credits and your eligibility. You could be in a situation to apply for your disability benefits, right? So that's something you definitely want to watch if you are in need of your Social Security disability income. Widows and survivors, the strategy there is to just ideally pick the check that's the most. And if survivors or widows is it, then you're on the right program. If not, Social Security disability is higher, then you can switch to that. It's an internal change with Social Security. Now, the other thing is there's some people out there that were like really touting this whole stimulus thing, which I get annoyed with how they approach it. But it really only applies to those who did not claim their 2021 tax credit. And there isn't anything you need to do. The IRS has tracked this and they're going to send it to you. So I would just take all the noise from those changes and put them over there. It does bring up a bigger point / challenge, which in my opinion, all this money going out, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's money going out, which we already have an issue with the Social Security solvency. And unless that's resolved or fixed with the new administration and how they plan to have it set up, you're likely going to see an impact on your disability check amount. So having more money coming out of that already sensitive situation is not, it can be argued as not being popular. So that's the one downside. So I just encourage you to be aware of what your options are. We're going to hit on some of the things that you can do here today and ongoing throughout the year, so that you can proactively set yourself up so that if you do get a 30% slash in your check, first of all, you're aware of it. Second of all, maybe you've followed some of the strategies we talk about to offset that, right? You know, it's tax time, and I just finished a tax video. There's 6 tax tips that I put out. I'm not a tax guy, but there is one thing that I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's out there that may have had their disability benefits approved in 2024. And if you did and you had back benefits, like most people have pretty significant back benefits because the delays are long. But let's say you had 2 years of back benefits and you received $30,000, which is pretty conservative. If you take and are going to allocate all of that $30,000 towards your 2024 tax year, it could have tax implications that are not favorable to you. But what you can do is, because it's likely that that is covering 2 or more years of benefits, is you can have whatever percentage of that allocated to 2024, a percentage of it allocated to 2023. So it'll start from your onset date and go all the way forward. So that'll reduce your tax liability, right? So that's one tip that I just recently picked up that I think everybody should know about as you prep for your taxes. And listen, if you've done this, like I already filed a tax and it hit you maybe a year or two, you could refile, or you could look into refiling and seeing if it would be worth it. And it commonly is if you have a spouse that's working and that pushes your income up into a different tax category. So something to keep in mind. I'm surprised I have to go over this, but I'm going to go over it again anyway. We are still getting contacted by individuals who are Medicare clients that now realize that it's January 1st and their Medicare Advantage plan that they are on is no longer valid. Despite the communication attempts, despite the events that we do here. So here's my point. In late September, October, every year you're sent a notice of change. And that notice of change, for many, it just seems like is going in the trash and they're not paying attention to it. And Philip, you know this well because it's happened to you. You not like that, but you pay attention to it. But folks, it's really critical that you read the documentation about your Social Security disability benefits, about your Medicare. There's one individual right now who's uninsured. I mean, and so it's really a difficult situation to help people that are not doing what they need to do to help themselves, so that they're aware of that. All right, box check, done. Few other things. I want to go over another commonly asked question. Then we're going to start taking some digital questions, and we'll have some folks come in the room here. Beginning of the year, a lot of people want to know how much money they can make and keep their benefits, right? So this is covered in a lot of our information, and I'll have Nadine put the link in the chat here so you can go check out the regulation. But the for 2025, you can earn $1,160 a month and keep your benefits. So now, if you are working like independently, like you don't have a traditional job, then there's some other advantages of that, which is you can deduct your expenses and you can also take advantage of impairment-related work expenses. So impairment-related work expenses could be assistance that help you get ready, like personal assistance, could be a service dog, it could be any tools or apparatus or transportation that you need to do your work. These are all legitimate expenses. So when my 2025 tax preparation video comes out, it'll be in there, or you can just search our YouTube channel or ask us as at our membership desk for impairment related work expense information. It's really a game changer. So here's an example. Let's say you're grossing $1,500 a month, but you've got transportation, personal assistant, service dog, other tools that are like $400 a month, right? So your income is going to be $1,100 a month, which is within the range. So that's how you can take advantage of it. And oftentimes it allows you these expenses perhaps you're incurring anyway, like the standard ones like your phone and your internet, you can also write off. So make sure you're taking advantage of all of the little tax situations that are out there. All right. Let's address some questions. What's going on out there?
Yeah, so do you want me to go first? Is it still ladies first in 2025?
Always, always.
Always, Philip. All right.
Oh, all right. So we got a question here from Vivian. She's asking, do you have to report money from plasma donations? I'm in Missouri.
Plasma donations. I've done this before, and I want to go with no, because you're not working. It's a donation. I, I am 90% certain that that is not earned income.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a question here from Melissa. She said, I'm in Texas. It's been 17 months. I've got a denial the first time, and now we're in a pill. It seems like my case is stagnant. I do have an attorney, but when I message them, they say Texas is behind.
Well, what's the question?
I guess she's wondering if that is like normal to wait that long.
And what was the time again?
It's 17 months.
So the initial application decision was 233 days. That's a lot less than that. What I would suggest on that one, that's beyond the limit. I would um, I would use your local government representative, congressional office to ask them to inquire about your case at this point. First of all, I'd make sure that you have like all of the information that you really need to get the case approved. And I say that because if you're just pushing for a decision and you don't have like residual functional capacity reports in there, all your third party evidence and everything else in place, then
Mhm.
you're going to get a decision and it's not going to be one that you're probably going to like. And then you have to wait again, typically, because the state's behind. It could be the same amount of time in Texas for reconsideration. So one, make sure that you have everything in place. And you can do that by, if you're not already a member here at the Disability Digest, join us, look at the approval, in the approval course that we'll assign to you based on your membership profile. You can see what needs to be in the initial application. Here's the other thing you want to do. With your disability representative, they can look into your case file. So you want to make sure all your doctors' medical records are in there. So if you have 5 doctors, then you want to make sure that Social Security has requested and received all 5 doctors. So that information you can get from your attorney. Again, they have access to that. If they tell you no, then I'd be concerned.
Okay. And she also has another question also from Melissa. She's asking if she can use her ex-spouse income for Social Security disability. They have been married, I mean, they were married for 12 years.
You can't use it on your own record. That's a nice try, but I don't know of a way that you can do that. There are divorce benefits, there are survivors benefits, but those are not, it's different than disability. If you can, disability payments are typically the highest. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Philip, it's your turn.
I got one here from a Facebook member. Says, has anyone seen a doctor via Zoom room disability during the review stage? Seeing one Friday for mental health. Honestly, just wondering what to expect.
Yeah. I know that there have been independent medical exams done via Zoom. Yeah. I don't know that that's common, but I know that some have, we've had some done. So here, I'll just go over like the top two tips. Our disability approval course has a comprehensive list of how to manage this. This in section 3 of the how to of applying for disability, or if you've already applied and waiting. But here's the top 2 out of them. When the evaluation starts or the Zoom room goes on, typically the doctor is going to ask you an opening question like, how are you? Right? How are most people programmed to reply to that? Right? Oh, I'm doing fine. It's just your natural being. But you have, I encourage you to be super sensitive, because if you say, well, I'm doing fine, doing great,
Doing good.
then yeah, guess what's going to end up in your medical records? So instead of that, you want to pivot. You want to say, well, geez, something that is accustomed to you. Don't, I'm not advocating that you use my exact language, but if it's for mental health, then you could say something like, man, I'm just, my mind is always racing. I'm not able to sleep. I've been averaging like 4 hours a night, and I just wish I could feel better. I don't know if I could go back to work, but I just would like to feel better so I could get going in that direction. Focus on the limitations, right? That's one. When that opening sentence, be really, really careful, be prepared. 2 is, it is okay, even if it's via Zoom, to have an advocate. And the reason why you want to have an advocate is because you're not well and you don't remember. And sometimes your train of thought isn't correct. That's your answer. But really, you want to make sure that the examiner, especially if this is in person and you're working like one-on-one, you don't want to do that, because they could say that they did a comprehensive evaluation on your degenerative disc disease and the arthritis in your lower back, and actually all they did was check your ears, eyes, and nose. That happens, right? So make sure you have somebody that goes in there with you. Ideally, record it. I've advocated for family members. I record everything. I save them in a file. It holds the doctor accountable. And then it also is helpful for the patient. They can actually see what went on. And so those are the top 2. For the rest of them, if you're not already a member, join us as a member, get into the disability approval course, follow, make a difference. It's an important time in your case.
All right, ready for the next one?
I think so.
Says, after the medical review, if it is not sufficient or eligible, do they still move on to the final review, or do they deny you then?
Where do you think this is an initial application, Philip?
Yes, I believe it is.
Read that to me one more time, please.
Says after the medical review, if it is not sufficient or eligible, do they still move on to the final review or do they deny you then?
I'm not sure.
Uh,
I don't know why they would move on if there isn't sufficient medical evidence, because there's there's 5 steps, but that whole evaluation thing and how they do it is really super fuzzy. If the question was, I'm at step 4 or 5 in the disability decision process, that'd be a lot clearer to me. But yeah, so one of the things that's interesting is that oftentimes individuals will see in their portal that you have medically been approved for your disability benefits. And now we're just going to check, forget the exact term, but like the non-medical, which would mean your work credits. And to me, it just doesn't make sense that they do. I'm venting here a little bit because they've gone through all of this time, effort, and energy where if they would have just simply checked the work credits in your work history in the beginning, they could have saved all that. So that's why the process doesn't make, total sense.
all right, next one here.
Just one moment, Philip. Nadine, have we put the link in the chat so people can join and we can actually interact with them if they would like? If not, let's do that and then they can come on in and join. So this is an opportunity for you to come into the room, chat with us rather than, or in addition to the question that you put into either YouTube or Facebook. All right, Philip, I cut you off.
All right, this next one says, I'm kind of confused on the back pay part. Does the back pay start when you applied for SSDI or when disability was diagnosed by the psychiatrist?
Okay, well, I'm going to use the word onset. And onset is the date that you can prove to Social Security that your condition prevented you from working. So it could be the day that you stopped working, and it could be the day of the diagnosis. But the medical evidence needs to support that. So here's an example of how that might happen. Let's say you went in for the appointment where you received the diagnosis. And on that appointment, you received the diagnosis as, what was the condition again, Philip?
Let's see, did they say what the condition?
I'll make one up. Let's say it was depression. So you were diagnosed with severe manic depression. So it could be mild, moderate, or severe. So on that day, you were diagnosed with severe manic depression. And the severe manic depression puts you in a situation where you have, extreme situations or episodes where you have to actually be in a dark room because it makes your mind race and you get headaches and it takes you 2 days to recover. So like a diagnosis like that could be the point where your onset date starts. So let's go into the back benefits. So it's the first 5 months after that onset date is proven that there is an elimination period. There is no back benefits. And I have CJ coming into the room for you. So the first 5 months are an elimination period. And then after 5 months is when the back benefits start to accrue. Okay. So let's see. All right. How'd I do with that one, Philip?
Good. You want to let CJ in to ask his question?
I believe right now Nadine is speaking with CJ in a breakout room, so we can continue.
All right. Next one says, can your physician make a new clinical note to your medical records and send over to SS office to add additional information so that the documents have their T's crossed and their I's dotted for approval?
Yeah, really good question. The answer to that is yes, they could, but in my experience, a better way to do it is this. Is to get a copy of that from your patient portal, and then with it, the copy of it from the patient portal, submit it directly to Social Security, or if you're using a disability representative, ask the disability representative to do that for you. Because the disability representative is also going to want to communicate why this new condition or diagnosis is further impacting your ability to work. Doctors don't know how to do that.
All right, you want one more or?
One more.
I got approved for disability. This has to do with your opening remarks today. It says I got approved for disability last year and received my lump sum. SSA just sent me a 1099. Do I have to file taxes this year? Is my lump sum really taxable?
Yes. So on your award letter, there is a segment in the award letter that will say what your tax liability is. Let's see if I can find it for you real quickly here. Okay, this one, make sure I have the right letter. Yeah. Okay, one moment. And so on this award letter, and Whitney will be with you in a moment. If you scroll down here, there is a tax liability section. Your benefits may be taxed. This particular award letter, it's on page 4 of 6, and it reads, if you're single and your total income is more than $25,000, or you and your spouse have a total income of more than $32,000, you're subject to taxes. Okay.
Okay. That was the last one. If you have anything else.
No, no. I do want to bring up one other thing that's been a common question that's been brought up, which is about a benefit planner. Here at the Disability Digest, we have been aggressively looking for individuals that are disability recipients, ideally members of the Disability Digest, and that are interested in working here. And part of the application process is to submit your application, and then the second part of it is getting an assessment from a benefit planner. And I just want to touch on that, even if you're not interested in pursuing a position here, that vocational rehabilitation benefit planners are a no-cost resource that will evaluate you and your skill set to determine what your ability is to work. And if you do want to work and you can work, like individuals that are going to work here at the Disability Digest, they're like an extra layer of support. They can provide you resources, guidance. They can be a sounding board. They could help upskill you so that you're have a better chance of succeeding here. They can help you get equipment. So that's one upside of doing it. The other side is, even if you don't want to work and you're petrified of your continuing disability review and you go have an evaluation done by a planner and they say this person can't work, that's helpful information for your case file. Okay, Nadine.
Right. So yeah, we are bringing in CJ Graham for our Q&A. He said he just have some questions about the updates for SSI on 2025. So
Okay.
CJ,
And I have others that are queued up to come in, so I'll let them in and you can
yeah, let me.
have a chat
Yeah,
with them.
I will go back to the breakout room right now to have a chat with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So CJ's on her way in.
Yep. He is on his way in.
Okay. All right. So Farhan and Sheila, Nadine will be right with you to speak with you briefly before we have you join the room here and go live. We're just waiting for CJ.
Wonder why it's there.
Okay.
It was loading, but he is already here. Hi, CJ. You're already
Hi
live,
again.
right?
Hello.
Hello, CJ. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So I have a quick question. Do you guys know what the updates are gonna be for SSI, like if any?
When you say SSI, could you be more specific?
Uh, well, I get SSI for disabled child. Well, under the heading of disabled child. So I want to know if there are gonna be any updates in regards to the new administration coming in and
Right,
all that.
right. Well, this is what I know. And this is consistent with Attorney James Mitchell Brown, who was recently here. The new administration, one, they're not in office yet, and two, they have made some suggestions or things that they would like to do, but they haven't done anything yet. So that I can't speak to anything specific. But how old is your child?
I am the child,
Oh,
29.
oh, 29. Here's something that may be applicable for you. Are you familiar with the ABLE accounts?
Yes.
Do you have one?
Yes, the funding is the issue because they're stupid when it comes to that, but yeah, I have one.
I want to make sure we're talking about the same thing because these accounts allow you to either receive money from others or to work and earn money, and it goes into the account and it doesn't impact your SSI benefits. We
Yeah,
talk,
and you can save up to like $10,000, I think. Well, at least for
well,
Michigan, I think.
yeah. So most states are over $100,000. Now, keep in mind, you can move CJ from Michigan, if they're capped you at 10 and that's an issue, you could move to a state that's more friendly. It's like a bank account. Um, so that's something to keep in mind. But there's definitely been some improvements in that. The Social Security website in December was mentioning one, the limits, two, it doesn't apply to you, but there are the criteria for people to get into to do that. So that makes it more attractive, for others. That's one change that I could.
And then I have one more question. Uh, so I currently owe Social Security like $1,000, but I was told that I could do a waiver. But when I called them, they said that I couldn't because too much time has passed. So I'm trying to figure out what I can and can't do because it's under $1,000. Well, it's 1,000, like 1,400, give or take,
Okay. So
and I can't afford to pay it off
right,
of my SSI. So
right. Did they say, CJ, that you are expected to pay this all back at once?
No, they're pulling it directly from my SSI check.
What's the percentage that you have to pay back?
Currently they're pulling like $91, give or take.
I see, 10%. Yeah, that's pretty consistent with what the change was. I mean, here's the thing. If it was a large amount of money and you could get somebody on it, like an attorney, to
It
work on
was only $2,000. Sorry
yes.
for interrupting.
No, I think we're on the same wavelength here that, um, unless you can figure out a way to fight it on your own, I don't have any strategies for you, and it's not really enough to get somebody legally involved, in my opinion. What you could do is you could go to your local Center for Independent Living and you could ask for free legal aid and ask them to take a look at it. That's a definite.
The problem is it was due to not reporting of income, so it is valid, but I just can't afford to pay it. So there's also that little caveat to deal with.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're in kind of a tough spot with that.
Yeah,
You'll be done soon, though.
hopefully. And then yeah, that was the only questions I had.
Appreciate you joining. Good luck. Keep in touch
Thank you.
with us, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep, I will keep watching.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right. So we have Sheila here. For some reasons, I've been assigning her to the breakout room, but um, she's not getting through in there, but she can here in the main room. So I guess we can just go ahead and let her ask her question. Hi,
Sure. Let's
Sheila.
go for it.
Hi, thank you so much. I really appreciate your presentation and this whole format. Um, and I don't know why I got bounced out of Zoom completely, so I had to rejoin. I don't know what happened. I'm helping my son. I used to actually work for Social Security as a decision writer many years ago. But my son, my adopted son, has autism. Um, He cancer of the thyroid that he had removed. He has muscular dystrophy, and he's also morbidly.
we lose her.
Yes. Sounds like.
You lost your audio, Sheila.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so let me just clarify. You are advocating for your son, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
you used to be a decision writer. I'm with you on all the conditions, let's fast forward over the conditions to the question, and then we may come back to the conditions.
Sure. Apologies. So, um, they Social Security writes and asks for additional forms to be filled out. They did this over Thanksgiving. They sent something, and it was about a consultative examination and some more additional medical information. And they sent it on about the 20th. We received it around the 25th of November. And then there was a holiday. I was away for about 4 or 5 days with my daughter, and they wanted it back by December 1st. I sent it back, I don't know, I want to say December 3rd or 4th, by fax and by overnight mail. Do you know how difficult they are in terms of a deadline? Does this mean that um, they will just write us off? Because we haven't heard anything about the consultative exam. My son didn't want to do the video one, so we asked for an in-person, but they haven't sent us anything since then. This was the end of November, early December.
Yeah, it's tough to predict on that. I feel that you're going to be fine. I mean, we've had this is one of the notorious things that Social Security does is to send you something that they want yesterday. Um,
Right.
so I'm not really concerned about that as long as I hope that you kept the envelope that they mailed it to you with the postmark on it. That's really the
I,
trick.
yeah, I believe I did. I'm not sure if it had one though. I think it had one of those prepaid government things on it, you
Okay.
know.
So look for
I
the
will-
postmark on it, and that will help you understand, because if they need to allow you with a certain amount of time, and then there's a 5 day like grace period, which we've been able to even get it extended beyond that. So not super concerned about that. Is there another concern that you have?
I'm just really worried, because because of his autism, he tends to be overly optimistic about his abilities. He thinks he can fly a plane. He thinks he can do this and that, and um, you know, but they're just impossible for him. And so I'm worried that the examiner's gonna think, oh, he's just fine because he comes across as fine for the first half hour, and then you realize, oh, there's something a little bit out to lunch. He never stops talking. He interrupts. He's very focused on his own, and he's got, the whole autism sensitivities, and he also
Right.
has sleep apnea. He's morbidly obese. There's an awful lot going on, but I'm just worried because he was homeless for a little while, and it's just very painful for me that he can't take care of himself at all.
I bet it's just yeah, tough. Uh yeah, to do that. We all want what's best for our children. I mean, the thing is with the exams is, let's say that your son goes into the exam and he totally like blows it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't impact his diagnosis and his medical. So, and perhaps you recall this, Sheila, as a decision writer, you're looking at the conditions that are diagnosed and the treatment of them. And in this situation, you would look at the severity of the conditions and how they're marked. And even if your son has a great 30 minutes in this exam, it doesn't necessarily mean that he can work. How old is your son?
He'll be 30 in 2025. He's 29 right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's my take. The only I mean, is he going alone, or did in the prior part of this program? That's one of the things that I advise against. Would he allow you to go with?
I would love to, but I'd be surprised if a doctor allows me to stay there. I mean, I'll try, but I've
Oh
been going
no,
with him to almost everything else.
yeah, this happens all the time. I mean, we tell people. I mean, we represent uh, people as their representative, and we are adamant that they do not go alone. And you can have your son listen to the replay of this. He is setting himself up for a real challenge, because these examiners are paid by Social Security to ideally evaluate that he doesn't qualify. I mean, that is the mindset that one should have. So even if he's perfect and he can fly a plane and he can do all of that, having another voice or another support system in the room for something he may miss, or just to make sure that you hold that doctor accountable, that he just doesn't do like an eyes, ears, and throat evaluation for your son, that he gets a fair evaluation. So what's your son's name?
Joseph Orsi.
All right, Joseph, if you're listening, have your mother go with you.
I will. I will let him know you said that.
Yes. And the replay will be available to this. So, I mean, does he want to get his disability benefits?
Very much so at this point. He really tried for a long time, but he does, he just doesn't have the ability to understand how to act at the workplace. You know, he just doesn't have the ability to um, take care of himself, and doesn't know how to fill out forms. Just yeah, he at this point he does, because he had his thyroid removed due to cancer. He's morbidly obese. He can barely walk at this point. So
Yeah.
I think, he's agreeable.
So this would be my other message to him, is keep the faith that you can still do something. That's always my message, whether people like it or not. But getting your disability benefits is some stability, and it does allow you that financial resource and health insurance and access to tools so that you could, maybe adjust or find something that you could still do as a disability recipient, and get out there and do some work and make a difference. So I encourage everybody to keep that purpose and that hope for him. So hopefully he listens to this part too.
Oh, he will. Yeah, I think he wants to work, but he just can't right now.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, I hope you
Well,
found this
thank
helpful.
you.
Yeah.
It has been a tremendous help. Thank you very much.
Yeah, keep in touch. Let us know how it goes, Sheila. All right.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Sheila.
Bye, Sheila.
All
Thank
right, we
you.
don't. Oh, here, someone is joining.
Yep. It's John and is joining.
Let me.
We could just take John, like he's the only
Okay.
one. I think John will be
Yeah.
the last one because of time, and John has come and gone. No, John is in the breakout room. Yeah, I'm pointing that way. I don't know why, but we'll...
Over there.
Hey, I'd like everybody's opinion on this format. We do this for you folks so you can come in here and engage. So if you've got a comment that you could add in the chat, that would be great, whether you are participating or like to hear from others. We do this so that we can help you out. I mean, it's no charge for it. We're out here and doing it for that reason. So all of the 1,046 of you on YouTube would certainly like to hear your feedback. I'm also wondering if anybody has like a side hustle that they are cooking up in the first part of the year. Like, is anybody planning on doing anything? Would like to do something to supplement your income? What's going on there? That would be great. I just want to cover for Nadine a bit here and cover some of these last questions. Okay. Here's one from Rusty. My exam was quick, casual conversation, and the famous cognitive test. Mine was less than 10 minutes. They just want to verify your claim is true. That's concerning. One of the tips that we provide is to bring your medical records, like a list of what you're diagnosed with. And the reason for that is so that they evaluate everything. Because a 10-minute evaluation, if you have significant challenges, would be concerning to me. So, all right.
So we have John right here with us right now. So yeah, he has some questions about his benefits.
Hello, John.
Mm.
Welcome, John.
Yeah, so what I want to ask you is my SSI has been reduced according to my pension. So I want to know, do I fall under that new law that Biden just signed?
When you said your SSI, it cut out after that. Could you repeat that
My
part?
SSI is being reduced because of my employer pension, which I didn't pay into Social Security. So I want to know,
No.
do I fall under the new law? I'm in the state of California.
And what was your occupation?
It was basic maintenance worker for the train system.
Okay,
So I get CalPERS. So I get CalPERS. So what SSI did, they reduced my pension. They reduced my SSI according to my state pension that I get.
right. Right. Yeah, I mean, for me to be able to say yes or no, I don't have enough information to do it, but it sounds like you are one of those individuals that it could definitely apply to. Um, so you have SSI, and do you have other like disability income?
No, that's it. The SSI, then actually my pension is based on my disability, but what SSI did is they reduced my SSI according to what my because I get CalPERS, my disability pension. It
Right,
did is they reduced it.
right. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's possible. I just don't know all of the details. I mean, uh, of that. That's, I mean, the primary thing that we do here, I'm making excuses for myself. I was going to say I'm not going to make excuses for myself, but I really but I mean, we are super proficient at Social Security disability benefit approval, maximizing them. This is something that's really new in December. I don't know everything about your background, so John, I don't know, but I'd say for sure keep on the lookout. And one of the things that I would say to you is if you do have, and I'd love for